So my blood pressure's already up. Does that mean that
There are stars who rise through beauty, fame, or raw charisma. And then there is Sarah Paulson, the actress who clawed her way into Hollywood not by fitting in, but by becoming the very embodiment of fear, fragility. An unrestrained transformation. How does a painfully shy girl, raised in cramped New York apartments and haunted by a fractured childhood, become the fearless force who redefined television horror, won Hollywood's most coveted awards, and turned emotional vulnerability into her greatest weapon? Her rise was anything but typical. Her battles were anything but glamorous. And her story, full of creative risk, media controversy, reinvention, and personal courage, reveals a side of Hollywood far more complicated than fame and fortune. This is the untold journey of Sarah Paulson, the woman who turned darkness into art, pain into power, and fear into the very thing that made her unforgettable. Sarah Catherine Paulson was born in Tampa, Florida, but her childhood quickly fractured. When her parents separated, she moved to New York with her mother, a struggling waitress and aspiring writer who fought to keep the family afloat. Their life was unstable, filled with constant moves between tiny apartments, unpredictable jobs, and long nights filled with worry. Sarah grew up quiet, observant, and deeply sensitive. She often felt invisible in the chaos of New York, but she watched everything: people, emotions, tension, silence. That instinct to observe would later become the foundation of her acting genius. The divorce left scars. Sarah carried a persistent fear of abandonment, a need to prove herself, and a raw emotional fragility. These wounds became part of her identity, not as weaknesses, but as the very tools she would one day use to build characters far more complicated than the typical Hollywood heroine. Her first taste of performing came in school, plays and local theater programs. It wasn't fame she was chasing, it was escape. On stage, the fear vanished. She could be anyone. She could feel everything. And the shy girl who rarely spoke out loud discovered a voice powerful enough to reshape her destiny. When Sarah graduated from Fiorello at LaGuardia High School, the prestigious performing arts school in Manhattan, she stepped into New York's acting world with nothing more than raw talent and relentless determination. But Hollywood had a rule: if you didn't look like a star, you weren't one. Sarah didn't fit the mold. Her early years were filled with auditions that led to polite rejections, tiny roles, and projects that vanished without making a ripple. She appeared in Law and Order, off-Broadway productions, and supporting roles in TV dramas, enough to survive, but never enough to stand out. Casting directors called her talented but not marketable. She was told she was too intense, too odd, or too emotional for mainstream roles. But one thing kept her from fading away: she never played a character halfway. Even in small roles, she threw herself in completely, voice, body, and soul. That intensity finally caught the eye of major creators. Her first breakthrough came with American Gothic and Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. They weren't commercial hits, but critics noticed her. She had something rare, an unpredictable emotional force, the ability to unravel on screen in ways that felt brutally real. Hollywood wasn't ready for her yet, but she was getting closer. Everything changed when Sarah crossed paths with Ryan Murphy, the showrunner who saw what others couldn't, an actress capable of becoming absolutely anything. With American Horror Story, Sarah Paulson didn't just rise, she exploded. She transformed from character to character with terrifying precision: a traumatized medium, a tormented mental patient, a ruthless journalist, a witch, a conjoined twin with two personalities, and more. Each season demanded reinvention so extreme that most actors would crumble under the pressure. But for Sarah, it was liberation. Every fear she once carried became fuel. Audiences were mesmerized. Critics were stunned. And Hollywood finally realized they had underestimated her. Then came The People v. O.J. Simpson, where she delivered the most celebrated performance of her career as prosecutor Marcia Clark. The role earned her an Emmy, a Golden Globe, and global recognition. It wasn't just acting, it was transformation, empathy, and fire. Her success extended beyond television. She appeared in celebrated films like 12 Years a Slave, Carol, Glass, Ocean's 8, and Run. She became known as a chameleon actress, a performer with the rare ability to disappear into any role. Broken, violent, brilliant, or terrifying. By the late 2010s, Sarah Paulson was no longer the shy girl fighting to be seen. She was one of Hollywood's most respected, most versatile, and most fearless performers, a woman who had finally stepped into the spotlight on her own terms. With fame came scrutiny, and Sarah Paulson felt the full weight of it. Her unconventional career attracted praise, but also attacks. Critics accused her of being too theatrical, too strange, or only successful because of roles designed to shock. Some said she leaned too heavily into darkness, that she was Hollywood's queen of weird. But the harshest criticism came from media obsession with her private life. Every relationship she had, every opinion she shared, every red carpet appearance became a subject of debate. Comment sections turned cruel. Tabloids dissected her choices. She was judged not only for her work but for who she was. This pressure triggered deep anxiety. She often confessed that before major roles, she felt terrified, convinced she wasn't good enough. She lived with what she described as a constant fear of being exposed as a fraud. Her career also stumbled. Some films underperformed. Certain performances were criticized for being overly dramatic or emotionally excessive. Hollywood, a place that celebrates reinvention, also loves to tear it apart. But Sarah refused to be defined by scandal or negativity. Her resilience came from years of surviving instability, doubt, and heartbreak. She didn't fight back with anger. She fought back with better performances, deeper characters, and unapologetic authenticity. Instead of hiding, she became even more fearless. As criticism grew louder, Sarah reinvented herself, not by changing who she was, but by embracing it fully. She began choosing roles that challenged stereotypes, especially those involving complex, morally gray women. She took creative control, becoming a producer on major projects, including the psychological thriller Ratched, where she stepped into a powerful new phase of her career. Architect, not just actress. Sarah also became an outspoken advocate for social issues, particularly representation and identity in Hollywood. Her honesty, sometimes uncomfortable, always fearless, reshaped her public image from a misunderstood outsider into a respected, boundary-breaking artist. This reinvention wasn't a comeback from failure, but a comeback to herself. She built a career that didn't depend on Hollywood's rules. She made her own. And audiences noticed. Today, Sarah Paulson stands as one of Hollywood's most transformative performers, a woman who turned her deepest insecurities into emotional power, and her unconventional path into a legacy of bold, fearless storytelling. Her body of work proves something rare, that success doesn't belong to the perfect, the polished, or the predictable. It belongs to those brave enough to reveal their scars, their fear, and their truth. Sarah Paulson's journey is proof that the most unforgettable stars are not born to shine. They learn to shine by stepping directly into the shadows. If her story inspires you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more untold Hollywood journeys.